House of the Dragon premiering August 21 on HBO Max and August 22 on Disney+ Hotstar is in a typical position through no fault of its own. A cloud hangs over the Game of Thrones prequel. Spin-off The eighth and closing season of Thrones left a horrific taste in nearly everyone's mouth. Owing to a series of extraordinary and rushed creative decisions at the equal time Thrones' huge success over the years, it used to be arguably the biggest TV show of the 2010s, is the motive House of the Dragon even exists. It would never get the chance, and there would not be greater spin-offs in the works if its large brother didn't pave the way for epic fantasy series on television. In fact, Thrones is additionally to thank for Amazon's The Lord of the Rings TV show. It is due in 10 days or so, but past that raison d'etre, House of the Dragon has nothing to do with Game of Thrones. It's still set in Westeros, however it takes location roughly 2 centuries earlier. That potential no Thrones characters are going to show up, even though there are masses of family dynasties that you will recognize. While there is no continuation in the front of the screen, folks behind the scene do carry on. Don't worry. Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who had been rightly blamed for the Season 8 mess, aren't involved. Ramin Djawadi, the composer on Game of Thrones, returns in that capability on the prequel series, riffing off his personal themes. House of the Dragon earns your love and appreciate before it rolls out a modified version of the GOT theme at the quit of the first Episode 1. Have not considered the title sequence, so I can't say if this is in a similar fashion epic. More importantly, Miguel Sapochnik, who directed some memorable Thrones episodes inclusive of Season 5's Hardhome, and Season 6's Battle of the Bastards, and The Winds of Winter, is co-showrunner alongside Ryan Condal. Colony. Also see all you need to know about House of the Dragon. Embed container, position relative padding bottom 56 25% height 0 overflow hidden max width 100%. Embed container I-frame embed container object embed container embed, position absolute top 0 left 0. Width 100% height 100%, and thankfully they recognize what they are doing. House of the Dragon is a issue of beauty from the very first episode, as it delivers a gripping and fascinating pilot that I wanted to rewatch the moment it ended. Of course, the Thrones prequel advantages from present world building Westeros, King's Landing and the Red Keep aren't foreign to us now, but the writing, direction and performances bring up it further. It nails scene construction, narrative momentum and the moment-to-moment flow. These may seem like small things, but they can make or damage a TV show. Additionally, there's an extended understanding of girl characters that can pay off instantly. Sure, Game of Thrones had a bunch of women at the forefront, but its most general complaints also stemmed from their handling. The Thrones prequel indicates itself to be extra mature in that regard. From the get-go set in a Westeros, it is even greater patriarchal than the one we take into account, and one that has a lot more dragons. House of the Dragon starts with a tremendous council convened by means of the in poor health King Jaehaerys Targaryen to vote on a successor, as he has outlived each of his sons. Why are the other effective homes of Westeros no longer vying for the throne? Because no one, of course, wishes to go up against a family with dragons. The alternatives are his oldest son's daughter Rhaenys Eve Best and her younger cousin Viserys Paddy Considine. Even though Rhaenys has the more advantageous claim, the council votes for Viserys simply due to the fact he's a man, and there may be no precedence for a woman on the Iron Throne. 19 years later, King Viserys finds himself in a comparable pickle with his spouse Emma Shan Brooke, unable to provide him with a male heir. Viserys should select between his daughter Rhaenyra Millie Alcock, Emma Darcy, or his younger brother demon Matt Smith, naturally due to the fact he is a man-demon, is regarded the heir presumptive, but demon is also reckless and temperamental, warns Sir Otto Hightower Rhys-Evans. The Hand of the King Viserys makes the daring choice to nominate Rhaenyra as his heir, which upsets many at King's Landing as it goes towards tradition. Otto, who despises demon, starts putting his personal plans into place, maneuvering his daughter Alicent Hightower, Emily Carey, Olivia Cook into places of power. Also see Inside House of the Dragon, the fiery Game of Thrones prequel spin-off. Embed container, position relative padding bottom 56 25% height 0 overflow hidden max width 100%. Embed container I-frame embed container object embed container embed, position absolute top 0 left 0. Width 100% height 100%. A high center of attention for House of the Dragon is the friendship between Rhaenyra and Alicent, or rather how the friendship crumbles owing to patriarchy, what they want and what's expected of them. It's why there are two actresses taking part in them, as unlike Game of Thrones, the prequel deploys time jumps to depict its story while Alcock and Carey play them. As teenagers Darcy and Cook take over as the season progresses. The time saw brings us to the precipice of the famed Targaryen combat of succession, the Dance of the Dragons, which was talked about in Game of Thrones, although it's uncertain how long Condell and Sapochnik designed to stretch it out. Sapochnik has hinted at an anthology format for what it is worth, which would mean even extra time jumps, while House of the Dragon without doubt has a slim focus, as its title makes clear. That used to be also Game of Thrones in its start. To be fair, the first season revolved largely around the Starks and Lannisters, with different characters introduced in bits and parts. House of the Dragon does give us a few non-Targaryen characters, although they are all linked to the Dragon Riders in one way or another. There's the King's Council, which consists of Otto Demon and well-known seafarer Lord Corlys, Sea Snake, Velaryon Steve Tucson, who's also husband to Rhaenys the Queen, who never was Dornish swordsman Sir Criston Cole. Fabian Frankel is additionally section of the most important cast, as is dancer Mysaria Sonoya Mizuno, who turns into Shut to Demon as the exhibit goes on, as you would possibly count on from a TV exhibit that value below $20 million. About Rs. 159 crore per episode. House of the Dragon is nicely shot, appropriately epic, and boasts tremendous manufacturing values that's extra than what HBO spent on Game of Thrones final season, $15 million per episode, while Thrones had to prove itself before it acquired the huge budgets. The first season was made at $6 million, about 48 crore rupees per episode. HBO is blissful, giving a lot of cash to a delusion show from the start because it belongs to a proven universe. Also, there are giant dragons from minute one here, and I hear these tend to price a lot to create, though I think about it would need to operate spectacularly as well for HBO to justify those investments into House of the Dragon. Also see She-Hulk, House of the Dragon and more on Disney Plus Hotstar in August. Matt Smith is Prince Demon Targaryen in House of the Dragon. Photo credit Ollie Upton, HBO. While Game of Thrones might have ended in ash and flames throughout its heyday, there was no exhibit like it. It was once no longer solely captivating with its twists and violence, but it also delivered storylines that may want to solely be performed on TV. Characters you despised early on went on to redeem themselves years later, while these that you idealized or respected paid a heavy price for their values. Thrones was once additionally very darkly funny, a trait that many have a tendency to forget about, in particular those who try to emulate it, and Benioff and Weiss had been wonderful when they had George R.R. Martin's books To Fall Again on Condell and Sapochnik do not have them at all. Yes. Technically speaking, House of the Dragon is primarily based on one section of Martin's 2018 ebook,